The World Cup has not even kicked off yet, but people are already being stopped at the border. Not fans sneaking in, not random troublemakers, a referee, team staff, a player, a photographer, supporters who already planned their trip. This is the problem FIFA cannot ignore, because the 2026 World Cup was sold as the biggest, most open tournament ever. 48 teams, 3 host countries, millions of fans, a whole continent turning into one giant football festival. That was the promise. But right before the first whistle, the story is not just who can win, it is who can even get in. And the clearest example is Omar Artan. He is a referee from Somalia. He was selected for the World Cup. For Somalia, that mattered. He was not just another official on a long FIFA list. He was supposed to become the first Somali referee to work at a men's World Cup. That is the kind of moment a football country remembers forever. Then, he flew to Miami, and the dream ended at the airport. Artan was denied entry to the United States. He was sent away before he could join the tournament. FIFA confirmed he would not be able to train or officiate at the World Cup. And that single decision turned a referee appointment into a global argument. Because this is not a normal club friendly. This is the World Cup. It is supposed to be the one football event where the whole planet shows up. The best teams, the best players, the best referees, the loudest fans. But if the tournament is being played in a country where some people cannot get through the door, then FIFA has a problem much bigger than one missing referee. And Artan was not the only case. Iran's team qualified for the tournament. Their players got visas. But reports say several officials and support staff were refused. That matters more than it sounds. A World Cup squad is not just 11 players and a coach. It is doctors, analysts, media staff, administrators, people who handle travel, recovery, equipment, interviews, food, training, and chaos. Take enough of them away and the team still exists, but the machine around the team starts to shake. Iran is due to play games in the United States, but because of the visa problem, the team is expected to base itself in Mexico and travel across for matches. Think about how strange that is. A team reaches the biggest tournament in football, and instead of only worrying about Belgium, Egypt, or New Zealand, it has to worry about borders, paperwork, and who is allowed on the plane. That is not a small inconvenience. That is a competitive issue. Then there was Iraq. Iraq striker Ayman Hussein was reportedly questioned for hours after arriving in Chicago. He was eventually allowed in, but the team's photographer was denied entry. Again, this sounds like a side detail. It is not. At a World Cup, every delegation is built to function under pressure. The players need focus. The staff need routine. The federation needs control. And then, suddenly, one arrival becomes 7 hours of questioning. One staff member is missing. One team has to start the tournament with a border incident instead of a football story. This is how a tournament begins to feel unfair before a ball is kicked. Not because one referee decision went wrong, not because VAR drew a line through someone's shoulder, but because the path into the tournament is not the same for everyone. Some countries arrive like normal. Some countries arrive with extra checks. Some fans land, scan a passport, and walk out. Others wait months for a visa appointment that may never come. And this is where the story gets bigger than teams. Because the World Cup is not only for the players, it is also for the people who spend years saving money to follow them. Fans who buy shirts, fans who book flights, fans who tell their families this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. And now some of them are facing uncertainty before they even pack a bag. Some supporters have had travel authorizations revoked. Some countries are affected by wider travel restrictions. Some fans face long waits, high costs, and the real possibility that a ticket does not mean entry. That is the nightmare version of hosting a global event. You can have the stadium, you can have the cameras, you can have the sponsors, but if the fans from half the football world feel locked out, the tournament loses part of its soul. FIFA knows this. That is why host countries normally make special arrangements. For past World Cups, governments tried to smooth the path. They knew the whole point was global access. Brazil opened doors, Russia created special fan entry systems, Qatar made tournament travel a central part of the operation. None of those World Cups were perfect. They all had problems. But the basic idea was clear. If you host the World Cup, the world has to be able to come. In 2026, that idea is under stress. The United States is not just a host country. It is also running its normal border system in the middle of a giant political argument over immigration, security, and travel bans. And FIFA FIFA cannot simply wave a football flag and make that disappear. That is the trap. FIFA chooses the host. FIFA sells the dream. FIFA collects the money. But when someone is denied a visa, FIFA says the host government controls immigration. Legally, that may be true, but to fans, teams, and referees, it sounds like FIFA wants the upside without owning the mess. Because if the World Cup is global, access is part of the product, not a side issue, not admin, not a footnote. Access is the front door of the whole tournament, and right now, that front door looks different depending on which passport you hold. That is why the Arton case hit so hard. It turned a hidden process into a visible symbol. One referee, chosen by FIFA, ready for the biggest moment of his career, then a border desk, then a refusal, then he is out. No red card, no bad performance, no injury, just paperwork and power. And that is why people are angry, because the World Cup sells itself as the opposite of that. It sells the picture of flags together in one stadium. Morocco beside Brazil, Japan beside Mexico, Ghana beside Germany, kids with painted faces, fans swapping scarves. The idea that for 1 month, football makes the world feel smaller, but borders make the world feel bigger. And in 2026, those borders are suddenly part of the matchday experience. There is another pressure building too. Workers in several American host cities are threatening strikes. Stadium workers, hotel workers, food service workers, people who will actually keep the tournament running. They are asking for better pay, better conditions, and protections around immigration enforcement. This matters because the World Cup is not just a football event. It is a city event. It depends on hotels, transport, kitchens, security, cleaners, concessions, and thousands of people most viewers never see. If those workers feel exploited while FIFA and local businesses make huge money, that becomes another uncomfortable story. So the pressure is coming from both sides. Outside the stadium, people are asking who is allowed in. Inside the stadium, workers are asking who benefits. And then there is the fan anger around tickets. FIFA recently canceled tickets for about 60 supporters who received them for free because of a website error. FIFA apologized, but it still added to a mood that was already tense. Because fans are not just reacting to one mistake, they are reacting to a pattern. High prices, long travel, complicated entry, uncertain paperwork. And now, even a ticket can feel fragile. That is dangerous for FIFA, because FIFA can survive criticism. It has done that for decades. It can survive bad headlines. It can survive boos. It can survive people saying the tournament is too corporate. But it cannot afford the idea that the World Cup is no longer truly open to the world. That cuts right into the thing the competition claims to be. A World Cup is not meant to feel like a private event for people with the right passport, the right paperwork, and the right luck. It is meant to feel impossible to contain, messy, loud, international, uncomfortable sometimes, but open. And that is why the next few days matter. If the tournament starts and the football takes over, FIFA will hope the noise fades. A shock result can bury a visa story. A late winner can make everyone talk about the pitch again. A superstar goal can move the whole internet in 10 seconds. That is what FIFA is counting on. But if more people are denied entry, if more fans get blocked, if more teams have staff missing, if workers actually walk out, then this will not be a pre-tournament headache. It will become one of the defining stories of the World Cup. And the hardest part for FIFA is that there is no clean replay. You cannot VAR a border decision. You cannot add 6 minutes of stoppage time to someone's visa. You cannot tell a referee who missed his chance that he can just come back next week. For some people, this is the tournament, the one chance, the one trip, the one assignment, the one moment their country finally appears on the biggest stage. And if that moment gets blocked before kickoff, the damage is already done. So yes, the 2026 World Cup will still have goals. It will still have noise. It will still have flags, drama, penalties, and players crying at full time. But before the football even begins, FIFA is facing a question it cannot avoid. Can you call it the world's tournament if the world cannot get through the door?